Sorry, I'm a little bit late. 5 minutes, 7 minutes. I was having some technical issues here. My screen was not flipping horizontal. My husband was in a meeting. I couldn't ask him for help. So today we're starting a new phase. Let me just fix my tripod. I am using a 1/6 scale skull. I think it's a 175 centimeters. Something about that. Okay, here's better. And these are some eyes that I made. Hello. Hello there. Hola, hola. All right, so I'm using a 1/6 scale skeleton that you can find on my store. I don't have the eyes on the store because they're too small to be to don't be handmade, so I would have to make them one by one. I've done it before, but it's too much work. It's not worth, but I do have classes here teaching how to make eyes, so you guys can make your own. And I just placed in here just to take a picture. I will restart that. So I got a request from some of you that you want to do the eyes looking sideways, not frontal, right? Know what? So it's very hard for me to read right now. Let me change the camera here to be easier so I can read you guys. There, that's easier for me. So, as I said, this is a 1/6 skeleton skull, and it comes, I just put this here to take a picture, but it comes this way, and it's losing. It doesn't come with this wire. This wire is from the skeleton, and in order to place them together, I just use clay. All of this is explained on the class, the other classes that I did. So even the class 1 for face expression, that it's laughing, I showed that too. So I just add clay and I press the jaw in there according to the person that I want to do. So I have to look at the chin if you want forwards or backwards. There are some space here to work a little bit, and also to open the lips or close it. So I printed two faces that I thought they were pretty seductive. This one is more like a dangerous seduction, and this one is more like thirsty, pretty much. I don't know how to put that on words. So different from the laughing face. Seduction is not really just a face expression. You know, it's relative. It's not like, oh, you pull this muscle here, you tight this muscle there, and then that's going to be very seductive. No, that's not how it works. So it's a different approach for this class. And also, it really depends on the person, like what you think it's going to seduce you and what is not going to seduce you. So there are a few things that are like very common, and then that is like if the person have a good self-esteem and it's secure, that's going to seduce. That's like the only thing that I can think of that is like general. Other than that, it really depends on who you're trying to seduce. So for a seductive face, what I do is I try to get a reference that I think she's trying to seduce someone. So this one with like a thirsty face, like she has the lips all soft and like tightening her eyes a little bit. This one is like a deep look, intense look that can also be seductive, or it could be like with the danger, a little bit of danger, seduce a few people. So yeah, so this is a little bit relative. It's not like a face expression that everybody does, and that's what's going to be. So you choose yourself a face that you think is seductive in your opinion and go for it. So between these two, I just made Irma, and it kind of looked like her, my Irma, because she was a bit of evil and dangerous. So I didn't use that one as a reference, but it kind of looked like her. So I'm going to go more for this one here. But I'm not going to be stuck on the reference. This is just, you know, to give me ideas. I mean, it's not a great reference. I only have one angle. If you want to work with a good reference, you need more than one angle. So the best thing to do is like ask a friend to do a seductive face, or, you know, or you yourself, you do a seductive face, take pictures around, and then you have more angles. Or try to actually find a 3D model. That's also going to help. There are a few websites that are free that offer some 3D model figures, and you can just go there and use it, or you can download in some websites. Anyway, so let's go for that seductive face. And as I said, she has her lips very soft, so it's not, when you are relaxed, it means that you're confident. So you are able to relax the muscles of your face when you feel confident, like you're not tightening anything because you're not stressed, you're not embarrassed, you're not any of that. So you're able to relax. And if you are able to relax your face, that means you're confident, and confidence is seductive. So, you know, one thing brings the other. So having the lips like that is seductive. It is actually like, if you're going to try to take pictures like that, it's quite hard. If you're like being observed and you're shy, you will kind of hold on your lips a little bit. Any question? Or anybody wants to say anything? Have any comment about that? Hola, saludo Argentina. So I'm just adding some clay to the eye cavity. I have a Q-tip. I don't know where my tools are. I was trying to solve the technical issue and I didn't separate my material. Didn't have time. Let me find it here. And I think they're full of, yeah, it's full of epoxy clay. Well, I'll try to work with that. These and these. Those are my favorite. Well, if I need, I'll take some time to clean up my tool. I'll try to go with it. Okay, so let's talk about how to put the eyes not looking to the front. Like, try to flip the eyes either up or down or sideways, or both, side and up, side and down. So what we have to do here is, depending on the type of eye that you make, it might be easier or not. If they're pretty rounded, then it's easier to move them around like this. So you just go one side or the other just by rolling the sphere, and that's how our eyes work. But sometimes when you make eyes, it gets a little bit flattened when you press the cavity to make the iris. The sphere flattens a little bit. So what happens is, when you do that, then you get a point pointing out here like this. So you get a point coming out here. This part gets too much inside, and in this one, if you look into that direction, it happens the opposite. And I mean, this eye that I'm using, it's quite rounded. I'm happy with it, but if it wasn't, you would have like a little point popping out here and going in here too much. So the best way to solve this type of problem is, if you have this type of eye, it's nothing lost. You can still solve your problem, don't worry. What you will do is grab a knife and open your skeleton, your skull orbit a little bit to the sides. Open a little bit in here and a little bit in there. And then instead of putting the eyes, like rolling the sphere to one side, you will actually bring the full eye. You're going to put to the front because your eye is flat, and you're going to try to get the eye as much to the corner as you can, like all the way out, this one and this one all the way in. And then when you build the clay shape, you keep the eye in the right spot, and then you're gonna have the iris more towards the side. So that's a way to fix in case your eye is flat, not in the back. In the back is okay to be flat, but you know, in this area, if it's somehow it got a little bit flattened, which is pretty common, then you can work like that. I'm gonna try to do without that, just by moving my iris like this, and see if it's going to be okay with this type of eyes, unless you guys don't want me to do it. Or I don't know how you guys' eyes are looking like right now. So okay, so I'm going to put my eye in there. This is just clay. I didn't put any gel. I could have, but I don't know why I didn't, because I didn't have time to prepare, so I didn't do it. So you see, if I just do that, the eye is already looking to the side. It's not in the cavity. Okay, it needs to be in a little bit more. And also remember that the eyeball goes in the cavity, and it's not like a vertical line. It's inclinated, okay? So it's deeper. It goes deeper on the bottom than on the top. So I'm going to place it in. And then, yeah, this eye is pretty rounded, so it's not gonna give me any problem. Just my clay very hard. It's hard to pull my eye in. Any question here or any request? Yes, I'm going to do to the sides like this, and maybe I'll put it a little bit up or down. I think just to the side is good, because she's going to go sides. If you want to go sides and up, then you roll your sphere to the side, and then you can pull it up a little bit here. I think I did. Maybe even higher again. Like this. Hello, oi. Yes, eye directions is a struggle. What you can do is try to put like a softer clay underneath, so it's easier to move. Not too soft, otherwise it's going to be moving directions during your sculpture. But don't focus too much right now. And then you kind of like do the eye shape first, not perfect as well. And then once you have the two eye cuts and you can see on the face, then you can move a little bit. It helps to see what you're doing. Because it's truth, it's training, and it can be a little bit one eye on the cat, the other one on the fish sometimes. So see, this one is looking down, the other one is looking up, this one is more to the side, this one is more to the front. So, and we also have to keep centered, and it's not. So I'm gonna bring this up, and what I do is I kind of poke a little hole in my resin on the side that is not gonna show, and that helps me to move my eye around better. No, I don't know who is Seagirl. Profile. Sure. You can't really see. The best way to see if it's getting, it's this way, and then you start doing this. And look, this direction you can see it's not. This one it's more in this direction. This one is still more in this direction. So I'm going to that's better. This eye is too much out. I have to bring this in. So I need to remove and put less clay in there. because it's very hard to pull it in. Hello. It's just because this eye was too much out. I want it in a bit more. That's better. See, now when you look in this is the best direction for me, at least, to see if I did a good job, is this. So it looks like they're both looking to the same direction. Maybe this one can be a little bit more to the side. Oh, maybe I went too much. And this is if you want to be perfectionist. Natalie, can you block this person with your new skills? I think you can now to block, because it's hard for me while I'm in class. Great. So see, now I moved this one. That is not good anymore, because I can see more of this iris in this direction than this one. So I will bring this one a bit more to the side and up until I like it. It's just because if you keep repeating the same thing, then I miss the important questions. Okay, a little bit more. There you go. I think I like it. And also, Suzanne, a good way to do is make your skull look at you like this. So if the skull is looking okay, then you probably will be okay. Or almost okay. See? This one is okay. Hi, Anna. I think this is good enough. Okay? All right, so next step. Does anybody have a question before we go for the next step? Obrigada, Diógenes. I asked for Natalie to block him. So if anyone have a question, I'm going to keep on going. So I'm going to fill up a few cavities, just so the clay doesn't get with bubbles. So when I'm going to place the skin on top, I won't get bubbles. So here it's pretty important to fill up. Sou brasileira, mas essa aula é em inglês. But I live in Canada, and this channel is in English. I have another channel in Portuguese. I haven't been posting very often there. But there are a few classes in Portuguese there as well. Okay, so I filled up in here. And also the nose cavity is good to fill up a little bit. We don't need to go crazy because I'm going to press my clay in there. I think Natalie was able to block. No, she didn't block him yet. He's still here. Hey, I can't even understand your question. Making see, girl. I don't really know what you're saying. There might be a spam, I don't know. So just covering some cavities, and that's to avoid air bubbles, to avoid cracks. Oh, De nada, Tita. And here too we have a pretty deep cavity, which we could just press the clay in, but if you think it's going to be hard, thank you, Vladimir. How I make the skeleton? No, I'm not the one that makes the skeleton. It's my husband. He's the one that makes them. They are made out of resin. And I sell them. I have them on the store available for sale. So I'm just filling up here a little bit so it's easier when I press my clay here to avoid the air bubbles, so I get it pretty in there. And same thing other side. There we go. Okay, so I just put a little bit of clay around the cavities. You can add more here too if you want. There's a pretty deep spot in there. Whatever you feel that you need. There's no really like a rule, like you have to put in here, you can't put in there. It's whatever you feel that is going to be hard to avoid air bubbles in there. Just when you press the clay, then you add the clay before. Actually, I like to add the skin. That's just how I like to do, but we don't have to add the skin all the way on top. There's also ways that you start building the nose and then you start like slowly putting things straight on the skull. And it's also fine. It works just the same, just as good as. Correcting. Okay, so here, just avoiding the big deep hole in there. Okay? Bolsonaro é feio. Bolsonaro é horrível. That's okay. Thank you. You did it. Eu sou brasileira, você sabe, né? E eu realmente acho o Bolsonaro muito feio, por dentro e por fora. Eu sou do time fora Bolsonaro, hashtag. All right, so now that we have the skull looking to the sides, I just want to ask before, are you guys okay with the explanation for the eyes? Was that enough? Are you guys being able to do it? Okay, so no one said anything, so I'm gonna keep on going. Ele não. Desde sempre. Oh, obrigada, Criasauro. So I'm just pressing my clay a little bit thinner because I kind of opened too thick. I got a few Brazilians here today. And we are talking about the president in Brazil that didn't really take care of COVID very well. More than 500,000 Brazilians died. So I will place this skin on top now. If you already did other classes, you probably already know these steps because it's always the same. If you don't, then it looks like the eye on the left side of screen is farther out the skull. Is it okay? on this area here. It might be a little bit. Well, for now is okay. After I make the eye, if I think it's too much, then I will change it. Press a little bit. Because what I look more is if it's the iris is looking to the same direction. This is what I care the most. Because, for example, if it's too much out in here and too much in there, I can always add a little bit of white clay to bring this corner a little bit out, you know, that can help. But if you see, hold on. Let me bring it in a little bit down. Because you want to bring in, but you want to bring the whole thing in. You don't want to just bring one side, because then it's not going to look out to the same direction anymore. Obrigada, Gigi Biscuit. No, G Biscuit. See, I pulled in, and now I'm not sure if it's going to be looking. It's not looking to the same direction again anymore. Oi, Patrícia. So I'm going to bring it in. So I'm pressing in, strong, and with my tool, I'm bringing more to this side. Well, that's better. I like that better. You know, usually when I'm sculpting on my own, I spend more time to make sure the eyes are very good. No, do it. See, I'm gonna leave it this way. It's not perfect, but if I do this, she's looking to the same direction. So I'm happy with that. Then if I have to change after, I'll change. But it's gonna be okay, I think. Don't give up because of that. It might be... tá pouquinho, mas não tem problema não. It might be also the shape of eye sometimes is not perfect. Okay, Suzanne, so if you have problems doing this way, do the thing that I told you before. Open the cavity bigger in here and in there. Keep the eyes towards the front and just move them like this. Then when you build, and then put them deeper. When you build the eye around, you keep the eye in the same spot. Do you understand that? That's a way to go around if your eyes are not very rounded. Mine are not super rounded, but they are not too bad. So I'm trying to do this way. But they are not super rounded. That's why it's popping out in one side. It's because of the shape of the eye is not a perfect sphere. It's a little bit flattened. All right, so when we do that step now, I want to pull this wire from here, but it's so tightened in there. We add the skin now, polymer clay. We have to make sure that we won't leave air bubbles, so I'm pressing the clay inside the cavities. And I think this eye I'm using is handmade, so that's why it gets a little bit flat. And if it's not a handmade, if you get a perfect sphere, if you do the pearl eye, for example, then you won't have this problem. You can turn around very easily and you won't have this problem at all. Oh yeah, I forgot to say that this clay has flocking. It's the same clay that I did the last face expression, the laughing one. So I didn't mention about the flocking because I just opened more clay and it's exactly the same one. I had to mix a little bit of clean clay to be enough, but I added the same colors and same things. So, and if you guys are interested in classes, I have a lot of classes in this channel for free. You just go on my playlists and you will find a lot of classes on the playlist, but I also have much more classes, many more classes on my Patreon, and it's only $10 per month and you can access all the classes. that I've been giving since, I don't know, 3 years, I think, that I am there. I don't remember. I'm horrible with dates. It might not be 3 or it might be more than 3. I don't know. So as you guys can see, I'm pressing in the cavities to avoid the air bubbles. And imagina, tem tanta gente melhor para ser. And I am being able to see the skull underneath the clay. And that's what I want, because then I know where the eyes are, where the mouth is, where everything is, and that makes it easier to sculpt. Okay, so there we go. And talking about the class, just changing things while I'm placing the skin here, I made a decision that after this class, the face expression, I'm gonna take a break of free classes on YouTube, but I will keep on doing the classes on Patreon, the private one, for $10 a month. And the first one that I'm gonna do is I will finish the body of the laughing face that we did before this class, because I got a few people that actually did the laughing face and they might want to finish the body. And that's what is going to happen after all this face expression. I still have a few. I think I still have like this one and 3 more to do it, and it's going to be free on YouTube. But then after that, I'm going to take a break. I also take, I usually take breaks on summer anyway. Okay, and then here, once I reach here, you saw like slowly I placed it in. And when I reach the back here, it doesn't matter. You can leave like that. So it helps you to hold like this, or you can clean up. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna clean up just on the bottom because I need clay to keep on going. I need clay to make the nose. Okay, and now let's do the cuts. I want to see more faces, guys. I want to see you guys working and making faces so I get stimulated to keep on doing the classes. When nobody does, nobody participate, nobody comment on the videos, there's not a lot of views, I get like, well, it's not worth. So let's bring movement to this channel, because this is what gets me excited to keep on doing. Oh yeah, this, I think face expression is so important, and it's kind of boring to always do the same face expression on the sculptures. All right, now we have a skull. I mean, skin. And there's eyes underneath. Okay, now let's cut the eye so we can see the eyeball. So I'm just gonna make a cut. I don't have to worry about likeness, so it doesn't need to, I don't need to measure where I'm cutting or anything, because I'm not working on portraits. So all I want is to cut eyes for her and lips. So this is the top teeth here. I'm gonna cut over, a little bit above no, on top. How to say that? Underneath. Anyway, it finishes here. I'm gonna do a little bit on top so I can see the tip of the top teeth. Not a lot, just a bit. This way. And then if you guys didn't watch my class Sculpting a Face, that I teach all the proportions, then it's all in there, all the proportions, but then you should know that the end of the lips kind of match with the center of the eye here. So kind of, I mean, it's exactly, usually like it's pretty correct if the mouth is closed. So you measure this, but I still don't have the eyes perfect, so I'm just kind of doing around that. Okay, this is the chin here. I can press it a little bit. I can see it, but I'm just pressing because I want to press. Okay, I'm gonna get a ball tool now, and I'm gonna do some press here. I'm gonna press the corner of the lip here under the cut a little bit, and around the eyes. Inner corner and out corner of the eye there. And that's just give a little bit of a ping. PV clay. I'm using PV clay. Estou usando PV clay brasileira. Com flocking. Okay, when we put the ball, what did I do here? I helped to do the curve on the mouth and on the eye, because the eyelids, they are not flat. In this direction, if you look in this direction, they can't be flat, or even inclined, they can't be flat. We have an eyeball underneath, and the eyelid, they follow an eyeball, so they have to have a curve. So when I press out and in, I help to make this curve. I make this curve to show better in there. Okay? And if you want to go forward with your ball too, you can still keep on pressing in the inner corner here and coming up. I'm going to do just one, and then you see the difference. Coming up here, and you make a little curve here. Bring this in more. And then when you reach the eyebrow, you soften your hand, and then you kind of like trace the eyebrow the way you want, the shape you want with your tool ball. I'm teaching something different. I don't think I've ever done this way on camera. It's just another way to do it. And then here, pressing in, continue, just keep on going with the press. Soften your hand to round this area. And you have better eyes there. Gente, essa aula é em inglês. Eu vendo os esqueletos no Etsy, mas ele sai caro para o Brasil. Ó. Look. So, that's already some eyebrow shape in there. Now let's open this eye. I don't even know why I did the eyebrow. I never do that. Just so you guys see there's not just one way to do it. So I'm gonna open the eye. It's just enough for me to see the iris now. Go. And when we open the eyes, make sure that your eyelid is going around the eyeball, touching all the way, touching really well. You can't have an eyelid floating and the eye inside with a space in between them. Okay, make sure that you won't have a space between. They are all touching the eyeball there, because you don't have, look in the mirror, if you find a space in your eye, between your eyelid and your eyeball, you're gonna rush to the doctor. So your sculptor is the same thing. Cannot happen. Okay, here you go. Now we have a cut for the eyes. We don't really have eye shape yet. Just smoothing some cracks that happen when we open and move the clay here. Okay, and now I'm gonna press under the eyeball to form this little, I don't know how to call that in English. This part, like the bottom of the eyelid here, is not, I don't know how to call, but anyway. You just press here. And it doesn't need to be all marked like that. It can be with a ball tool if you prefer, because you don't need a big mark. You can soften a little bit. Where's my ball? Here. You can just like gently press it. It really depends on the tools that you like and how heavy is your hand. I have pretty light hands, so any tool for me, it's okay. I can soften after. I don't have any difficulty in softening after. Okay, and as you guys can see, I'm making a circle around here because this is the teardrop. Okay, so that exists. There's a muscle here that goes over the nose like that, and here there's more, it's like deeper to make the eye. So this is a pretty happy eye, but I'm not doing expression yet. Right now there's just eyes in there. Okay, so there is some, because if you do this too deep and this gets too fat here, then it looks like you're tightening your eyes, and then it looks happy, like we saw in the laughing face, like we've learned. All right, now I'm going to mark the top of the eyelid here, just tracing a line. If you're working with Asian, like Chinese or Japanese, that have the eye, the difference on the eyes, that they don't have that line deep here. Okay, so I'm not, so I'm going to mark a line. I'm still not worried with the shape of it so much. I just want to mark it. So we have eyes. One eye. Okay, and then there's the sexy eye. We're gonna do that after. First we're gonna have eyes, and then we make them sexy. Seductive. Which is also very relative, but we're gonna follow the reference. Hola, Mexico. All right, so we have some eye here. I'm gonna make a nose. I mean, I could open the other eye. I can make a nose, or I can make lips. It doesn't really matter. I think right now it's more important to make a nose to be able to see more of a face here. Unless you guys want me to open the other eye, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to, this is just checking the size. This might be a little bit too big. Maybe not. So I'm just gonna press some clay in there without a lot of shape. Usually I go for like a drop shape, but a bit flattened in the back. That's kind of how I start, and I place in there so it matches the bone there, and then I press it all in, and then we start having a nose. Also, don't forget, okay, I will open the eyes as soon as I finish to just place his nose here. You guys don't forget that if you have difficulties in making eyes or making nose or making mouth, I have individual explanation, theoric and practical, on my Sculpting a Face tutorial that is in here on the channel, on the playlist, and it tells about all the proportions, and I go one by one explaining every little thing about each part of the face, and then we finish to sculpt the face. So it's a class that took me a while to edit. I dedicated, so it's a good, in my opinion, it's good. It's kind of like the best that I can do. I can't go much better than that. It's not on my possibilities. So I'm just connecting them, blending them together now. My clay is a bit dry, so it's kind of breaking when I do that. And this is probably because it's so cold in the basement, because I have the air conditioning on. So the basement gets really, really cold, and that's where my studio is. All right, so I didn't give any shape, but I just place it in here. So Suzanne prefers me to open the other eye, so let's open the other eye before we move forward. So I'm just gonna open just so I can see my iris. Then I can decide the eye shape better. Okay, let's talk about the eye looking to the sides now also, that I cut at the eye here. And then we can see better what we did. What I can see better what I did, and you guys will be able to see better what you did there too. You see the difference on it doesn't show a lot on the eyeball when you make the eyelid and put everything. It doesn't matter that much. As long as it has a nice expression, you're okay with it. So I'm gonna get my ball tool to do the same thing here. Dig in. I will change all of that after. I'm just kind of giving like a very basic shape now. Just pressing here in, because that's how the eye goes. There. Okay, and now that I cut the two eyes, I forgot to do this one. I'm gonna do just a little bit. I still don't have an eye shape. I only have a basic shape. And I'm going to mark the line. Okay, now we have to give symmetry to this, and we only give symmetry once you like at least one eye. Once you like one of the eye, then you work on the symmetry on the other one. All right, so let's check her look here. So I think it's seductive when, I think, that's my opinion, when the eye have a space under the eye a little bit here, you know, like kind of like a soft eye, but that's my opinion. I don't have it, maybe that's why. So I like this one better than this one. It looks more in the right direction that I wanted to, so I'm gonna go for it. And kind of, I'm going to bring this lower and more in a little bit. I can't even see her eyes in here. It's not just because of my, let me see if I can see in the computer. I don't think it's my printer. My printer is horrible right now. I'm gonna need to buy a new printer, but I think the picture is also very dark. So it's not just, I'm opening the image on my computer. I have these images on the group, Facebook group, and also on Patreon. If you're not on the group yet, read the description on this video and there's all the links. So she's looking a little bit more up. What happened when we look up? we hide this eyelid a little bit. It gets smaller because we're looking up. So we have to get some clay out of here. So that's gonna make it look like she's looking up. If you have too much eyelid on top, it's not gonna look like she's looking up. And also, don't take this clay out, just build this higher, because that's how the eyelid gets hidden. It's under that area. So reduce the volume here and give more volume here, and then it's gonna look like she's looking up. But don't forget the curves. This way, don't forget that you have to go in here and leave the curve. There we go. Maybe even more here. And just clean up. This needs to go down because it's separating from the eyeball, so we have to press it in more. And that's much better already. Oh my gosh, I don't have my glasses. I'm going to clean up some volume here. There's a lot. Just cleaning up volume. There. And here too, I'm going to give more depth under the eye before it reaches the cheek. This is not gonna have like a line here. I will soften that after. I just wanna make sure that I have the proper depth in there. Okay, I like this eye better than the other one. So here, still missing some depth in there. Once you reach the nose here, all of this must go deeper around. And then you have the teardrop. There you go. I'm just cleaning up this clay around. Not getting rid of it. I'm kind of blending in the clay that I pull out. I wasn't even reading. I was so focused here. Let me see if you guys asked anything. Sorry, guys. Oh no, you guys didn't. Okay, I think you guys are focusing with me. Good. So now that I have this eye open, then I'm gonna work with this one. And what happened is, when I cut this eye, I went too far in here, and then this iris didn't stay in the edge. And I want this iris to be on the edge. So I'm gonna open the eye more here to match that one, and close here. So I'm gonna be looking into the right direction. See, don't try to center the iris, because when we used to do eyes looking to the front, we tend to always try to put the iris in the center because we are used to. But no, here you want it at the edge. So change the edge more toward the center. And if you need to add some clay in there to complete on the eye, that's okay. You can add more clay in there. But we still need to reduce this space so it looks like she's looking up. And I'm gonna press this all more in the eye there to bring beijos, Portugal. To bring this eye more inside, closer to the nose. And now I'm gonna open down because this one is bigger and it's lower, so I'm gonna open this down, and then that's also gonna make it look like it's looking up. No problem. And now we just have to work on the symmetry to get the eye looking similar. So there's much more eyelid in here than on there, so I'm gonna clean up this eyelid a little bit by actually cutting my line lower, see? Because I can't go up too much. I think if I go too higher here, I will open the eye too much to the top. Well, maybe not, I don't know. I have to try. But we can cut the line like I did. Look, I cut at the line, and now I will blend this top part to the top because I need to give volume. Also, you can add clay there if you need more volume to make the eye looking more up. Build this area up a little bit and hide the top eyelid more. There we go. It's also this, we kind of like go in a little bit. There's a curve in here before it reaches the cheek. Okay. So it's almost there. It's not very symmetrical yet, but I guess you guys could understand what it means. It's not quite there yet. And symmetry takes some time, takes some dedication. There, I think if the eye cuts half of the iris, because if it gets too high on the iris, it doesn't get too seductive. I think we kind of like make our eyes float a little bit when we're trying to seduce. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if everyone does that. Like, I mean, I don't really do it. But now I imagine me doing this to my husband, putting my eyes like a dead fish eye. No, but I think it's more, I don't know, lazy maybe. I'm not sure why that is seductive. Relaxed, that's the thing. Relax the lips, relax the eye. So I might have to twist, flip my eye a little bit more into this side. So I'm gonna try to move a little bit. I'll let for after I tried everything. If it doesn't work, then I'll move the eye. I'm gonna make this part deeper because I brought the eye in closer to the nose, so I also have to make this more closer to the nose there. Right? This is an expression in Portuguese. I do that. How would you make tears? Glue or any other? Probably liquid clay that dries transparent, or maybe resin after. Okay, so now I will just try to I have to make the nose thinner, so I have more space to work on bringing my eye in. So I'm just gonna go with my ball tool here and make the nose a little bit thinner. We took so much time in this eye. Pretty much, oh my gosh, the class is done. It's been 60 minutes already. I didn't go too far. Well. But I guess you guys needed to learn that, and you wanted to learn that very much, so there it is. So before I actually move the eye, I try everything I can to don't need to move the eye. This needs to go in closer to the eyelid there. It's not, it's coming out. Oh, Susan, I'm glad you like it. It's always the best one when it teaches us something that we are in trouble with, right? I'm glad that this is alive and you guys can ask me to focus more on this and that, and I can serve you better. Oh, good, Larry. So there it is. Now I'm just going to clean up this nose a little bit so we can have a better end of class without such a big nose and such like a messy nose. So I'm just going to literally cut it right now, and then next class I'll finish this. Didn't try to give any shape. I'm just making more nose alike. Can also see the eye better when we remove all this nose from there. See? It's not too bad. It's not symmetrical, but it's not horrible. So I don't know if you guys want me to work on symmetry on class, or if I should just make sure that I have it symmetrical for next class so we can move forward. Because symmetry is just, I go like lower. No, it's not. It's higher. No, lower, higher. And then I look like this, look like this, look like this, look in all directions. And it's kind of boring. That's why I usually tell you guys that I can work on symmetry out of camera. It takes time. It's annoying. It's hard. It's boring. So I don't know. But if you guys want, I'm here for you. That's better. I think this one is looking more like the iris needs to come lower a little bit here. So, okay. That's what I do when I need to change the iris. I poke in the easiest part to fix after, and I try to move through there a little bit. And then I just fix this with a little bit of clay and cover up. Churum churum, easy and fast, and then I'll smooth it out after. Yeah, it was looking too much up, so I wasn't being able to get the symmetry. It's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. All right, guys, it's been more than 65. Oh, but I started a little bit later. No, that doesn't matter because it's counting how long I've been in here. It's just because if the live turned too big, more than 1 hour, sometimes YouTube deletes the live and then I lose the video. It happened before and I could not get the video back. So I'm gonna finish here. We didn't get too far, but I think I spent a lot of time explaining how to make it look in another direction, and I think that's pretty helpful because I remember it was always a struggle for me as well, and it took me some time and having the guts to I will do it and stick with it to the end, and actually did it, and it was a great feeling when I was like, okay, it's not perfect but it's fine, and then slowly gets perfect. Not perfect, I mean, but almost there. Perfect it will never be, or at least it's better to consider that it's not perfect, so it can keep on evolving. I think if we actually reach perfection, it's gonna get boring and we're gonna like, I don't need to do it anymore, I'm perfect. So better not go there. It's still not symmetrical, you see, it's still kind of like one needs to be open a little bit more, one a little bit less, but it has feeling already because it's not looking straight forward, so it's more alive than if it was. The lips is also, she looked like Popeye with the lips. I pressed here with my finger and I was doing the eye. All right, guys, see you next class. And if you have any doubt, please comment on my Patreon or on Facebook group, and let's bring friends to this community to grow those classes, get more and more people doing it. So that's always makes me feel like keep on moving forward with the classes, and it's always good. All right, don't forget to like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're not, share the video and give engagement, because the more engagement, the more people reach, it reaches more people to see the video. All right, I'm happy that you learned a lot. Beijo, Pati. Beijo, Brasil. Saudades. Quando o Bolsonaro não for mais presidente, eu volto para visitar. Beijo, beijo. Tchau, tchau. Bye, bye, everybody. See you next week.